in the house. How are you?
I'm doing well. What an introduction, Jared.
Thanks, man. I told you I'd bring some energy.
You did.
Hey, I am so happy that we got together. Okay, you and I got introduced by a mutual friend, Amy
We
Martin,
did.
whom I respect and admire. So happy that she did that so that we could get you on and get you some exposure, get the word out for you.
And I
So thanks for
appreciate
watching. Also, Bella. Bella's watching. She's a kidney warrior as well, Debbie.
it. Hi, Bella.
All right, so please take a moment here and introduce yourself and let them know where you come from. Give us a little background story. As I tell everybody every week that I interview, okay?
Thank you.
Every hero, and you're a hero, Debbie. Every hero has their origin story, their backstory, right?
Right.
Batman has his, Superman
Uh,
does. All right. Tell us your backstory, Tell us a little bit about yourself. All right.
All right. I'm Debbie Beeson. I'm from Upper East Tennessee. I am located in the foothills of the Smokies, and I live on a small farm with my husband and two dogs and a kitty cat. And I moved down here from Ohio originally. I was born and raised outside of Cleveland. And I was born with one kidney. And during the time frame, it is the one I have is titrated down to now 15% function. So that's why we're on today. I'm
All
a,
right. All right.
yeah, I'm a retired dental hygienist and I did reflexology.
Uh
So
huh.
always been interested in the medical field.
Very cool. Very cool. So what was it about the medical field that really draws your attention, that draws you in?
Well, I think I started with my grandfather who was a dentist.
Uh huh.
And I just had a natural inclination for the sciences. So I went into the dental hygiene program after going to a 2 year college. I transferred to East Tennessee State University in Johnson City, Tennessee, and
Okay. All right.
my degree there in dental hygiene and always did well in the sciences. So
Very cool. I
yeah,
like that. All right. The cool thing about science is that it's always the search for trying to find a solution. Do you know what I
right,
mean? And
right.
always trying to have something make sense. And that's what I do like about science. You know what I mean?
And I'm still trying to make sense of this kidney disease. So
All right, right. And that's actually what I was just going to tie in. And by the way, I wanted to share this again. I put it on just a moment ago, but Bella says that you're a shero. I love that. Not a
oh,
hero, a shero.
that is nice.
Yeah. So she says, I love reflexology. Getting my feet massaged all
Yeah,
pressure points is almost better than, well, you know.
that's a wonderful feeling. It's
Uh-huh. Yes, it
very,
is.
but it's a very medically, it's very helpful in the medical world too because you're stimulating the reflexes in your body to generate that energy that we need to get your organs working and your body working in a good way.
Okay. All right. So, Debbie, right now, you said that your GFR is around 15%.
It is. It fluctuates a little bit, but its average is at 15.
Okay. And so at this point, has your doctor asked you to go on dialysis, or are you at the point now where you haven't yet gone on dialysis?
I have not gone on dialysis as yet, but tomorrow I have an appointment with the vascular surgeon to talk about a fistula. So
Okay.
I know it's not too far down the road that
Uh-huh.
reality will hit. I either need the transplant, hopefully preemptive, uh,
Yeah.
would be the best scenario on my end, but reality is that it may be that time I'm going to have to do dialysis and wait for that special someone to give the gift of life.
Amen to that. Amen to that. So, One of the questions that Bella has, and it's a great question, is, with being, with that sort of average, when you're averaging around 15% for your GFR, how do you normally feel? What this is
Right.
actually this is actually a great question because,
That's right.
you and I talked about this, offline last night. All right. Is
Right.
that sometimes when people hear that you're not on dialysis, oh, she's fine.
Right. Well,
So
it's a great question. There's good days and bad days, just like any other person. Um, I think with the 15%, I feel run down more than most people my age. A little nausea here and there, but nothing substantial. Um, a, a little bit of blurred vision at times. Um, Nothing that I can't handle right now. So I'm very blessed that my symptoms are not exaggerated as some would be.
well, you got to be thankful for the little, for each and every little thing, because blessings,
Do
do seem sometimes small, but they could appear bigger later because then you get a bigger picture, if you know what I mean. And
right. And every day
mhm.
I feel grateful that I'm not on dialysis as yet, but
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a blessing in that, and then, but the downside of not quite being on dialysis is that you're still dealing with those toxins right now, and they're
right,
not, being filtered out well, like if you were, dialyzing, and so obviously there's a balancing act, and it sounds like you trust your doctor to make that judgment for you right now,
right.
and
I got on the transplant list in January of this past year, and at
hmm
that time, my nephrologist thought it would be up to maybe a year or a little more before dialysis, and
okay,
I'm getting to that time frame. So
uh-huh,
that's why we're looking into the fistula because that has to be installed in time for it to mature and to heal.
right.
So you just can't wait till the day before. It needs
hmm
to, you need to look ahead and be proactive on it.
Absolutely right. The this in this appointment that you have tomorrow to talk to Sheila, and to make preparations for at least doing that and having that discussion. How does that make you feel? What kind of feelings do you have about, you know at least having that discussion?
I feel better about being more educated about what it entails. I
Uh-huh.
like the unknown. So
Okay.
for me, the appointment is really going to be something to make me more aware of what I'm dealing with, the pros and the cons. Uh,
Uh-huh.
I'm one of these that's analytic, so I need that knowledge and hearing from other people that have gone through it has been a real gift to me because I can kind of weigh their opinions.
Okay.
Everybody's different, so sometimes there
Sure.
wouldn't work for me and vice versa, but it still gives you an awareness.
Absolutely. Yeah. Whenever you have something you're going through and somebody else either has gone through it or is currently going through it and is giving you some sort of history, or maybe they're giving you advice or some sort of encouragement, it's always going to make you feel like you're less alone, right?
Right,
It's
right.
got to make you feel
That's
good that,
support.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, it's a
Yeah,
good thing to have support. Now, Bella
absolutely.
asked that question about biopsy. No, Bella, I have not had that, and I have not been diagnosed with any kidney disease. When I was born, I had a birth defect, and that's what eliminated one of my kidneys and jeopardized the function of the other. And
hmm
just from age, it's titrated down. And I guess I've been lucky that I had one kidney to function as long as I did. But
Right.
as far as any diabetes or kidney disease, that has not been in my story.
hmm So it's a birth defect, not necessarily
Right,
something that, okay.
right.
Uh-huh.
My
All
mother
right.
had bumps when I was in when I gestation period, so that's kind of where that came from.
All right. Interesting. Okay.
Yes, it is.
It is, yeah. So, as you were saying that, you're analytical and, I, that's probably your fondness for science, is probably because you have an analytical sort of, mentality and you're geared that way. And I like that. Um, how has uh how has that been with your needing to know answers and wanting to understand how things work? Has this frustrated you not having control of
Yeah.
being out of control with how things are set out for you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Very frustrating for me. I think sometimes some of the doctors, my nephrologist,
Uh-huh.
he just tells me probably what he wants me to know at that point. He doesn't want to overload and, on the, and want that overload so I can deal with it in my time frame. So
Okay.
yeah, it is a frustrating thing for me.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if everyone feels this way or if it's just, individually, but
Yeah.
it is a frustration and it's hard to deal with. It
Yeah.
really is. I mean, just the knowledge, like I said to you, Jared, I've known that I've had this failing kidney for, years, 20 years, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
But when the doctor actually gave me the statistics just this past year, it was almost like a slap on the face. I just thought that it would just keep on ticking, that this would not be the reality. And
Uh-huh.
reality hit hard.
So
So
why
it's
why
tough.
why do you think maybe it took you a little longer to kind of come to terms or to
I,
fully understand what is really happening?
I think because I had dealt with it for so long that I just felt like it was going to continue. I didn't think that it was going to end up that I would end up on dialysis or need a kidney transplant. And
Uh-huh.
so it's just been, I think it just kicked me in the guts when I heard it. It was,
I can
it,
only imagine.
yeah. So it's taken me a while to really get my feet on the ground again and get running. And I'm trying to be a little preemptive. I'm trying to get the word out. And thanks to you, that's happening here. And
Absolutely. Yeah, it's my pleasure.
so many people do not know and aren't educated in the awareness of donation, a living donation, even. And I think with your help and what you've been doing as an advocate for, I think you just said 2 years that you've
Yeah.
been on
Mm-hmm.
this,
That's right.
that in itself is a huge, important way to go about this because if we're not educated, people are not aware that living donations can happen and how the donors are and how
Mm-hmm.
the process is for that donation. So I'm hoping that, through you and other means, because this right now you can't even get out and talk to people with this coronavirus. I mean, we're really kind of isolated. So
Yeah.
what are the means of getting the word out?
Right.
Something what you're doing is so wonderful, or social media. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you just don't have the options. So I'm just very pleased to have this opportunity.
Oh man, I'm tickled. I'm tickled for you to say that. Thanks. That's so it's very gracious and kind of you to say that. It's I do this because I have so much passion. I really do. I love doing this, and I love helping people and
You
kidney
can tell,
disease
yeah.
patients. Yeah, I do. And I love. Okay, I love kidney disease patients. I have so much admiration for their toughness, for their strength, for what they endure every day, and so I absolutely try to do everything I can to help as many people as I can. Okay, and
Right.
I'm gonna continue doing it. But tonight we're spotlighting you, not me. So Debbie, I'm not gonna go off on me. Okay, we're talking about you, and I want to help you. So thank you for being kind. what we've got is Bella had some suggestions here, some good ones. So she, in many cases, this is actually a great suggestion, is that many people who have kidney problems end up eating less red meat. Okay,
Yes.
because, and I don't know if that's your direction, but many people do, because red meat tends to be harder harder on the kidneys because of the
Yes.
way the
Yes.
body,
I
digests red meat.
correct. Not only red meat, but all meat protein.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Okay.
a low protein diet.
Uh-huh.
I probably ingest maybe 60 milligrams of protein a day,
Okay.
which, like, well, that's all right. But you start looking at your labels of just normal things, and there's 2 grams of protein in this, and 1 gram over here, and 5 grams over here, and it's not
Right.
long before it
It
adds
adds
up.
up, huh?
Yeah. And I'm on a low sodium diet, and I'm on a low potassium diet.
Okay.
And I've had to learn quite a bit about that, because who knew that potatoes had potassium, or
I
tomatoes had
know.
potassium, or cantaloupe had potassium. I mean, I had no clue about the
Yeah.
potassium. Now, protein is a little easier to understand, but the potassium was out of my league, and I've really had to do some studying on that one.
I know. I mean, seriously, who would have thought there would be so much in melon? All right, and stop your
Right.
yelling, okay? I know we're
Melon and
talking about
water.
melon.
Yeah, you think that's healthy.
Yeah,
And like
but
the pasta and the breads and
yeah,
everything, most of the time on a very healthy person, they want the whole wheat, like grain.
right.
On a kidney patient, we need white bread and white pasta, not the enhanced rich wheat pasta.
Yeah,
And it makes it so difficult, because we're eating what everybody thinks is an unhealthy meal. And to
right.
us, healthy, because it's less toxins in our
Exactly.
body that
Uh-huh.
work a little less for us.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And
for
you have to
bringing
kind of rethink how you eat, because you're going to have to, for other people that they think, protein is going to be good for you, you're going to have a low protein for your diet. And so it's a little bit of a reimagining your diet. And then how was this transition for you when you're kind of, redoing the way you eat and your diet or your meals and stuff like that?
Well, I had been doing the low protein for many, many years, so that wasn't an adjustment.
Okay.
The sodium I had been using slightly in, for flavoring on your meals, but I've eliminated that, and I don't even crave it anymore.
Really?
No, I don't even notice. Put a lot of pepper. I use
Uh-huh.
other seasonings that are adaptable.
Yeah.
Um,
Other
but the
spices and
but the
seasonings.
potassium one was the one that I really had to
That was
figure.
that
Yeah,
was
that
the
was my
struggle.
downfall.
Okay.
I
All right.
I love potatoes.
Yeah.
I don't eat bananas, so that wasn't a problem. But avocados are high in potassium. I loved avocados and
Uh-huh.
guac.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
love avocados too. I do.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
I
you
know what the
can't eat.
guac you're talking about right there. I love avocados.
Yeah. So, I used to eat avocados on my sandwiches, and,
Yeah.
on a toast, or
Right.
guacamole with, my Mexican meals. And,
Mm-hmm.
so many things that I've had to adapt that way has been harder than the protein one. Now, I'm not a vegetarian. I do like to eat meat, but
All right.
I eat very little when I do take it.
Okay. So do you prefer fish then, or what kind of meats do
I like
you eat?
chicken, and I do like fish, and I'll eat
Uh-huh.
pork. I do eat a little bit of red meat, even though we talk about it. So
Yeah.
that red meat is a little harder for the meat.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But I do eat, and like I said, it's just a small amount. To most people, it would look like smaller than a credit card,
All right. All right.
if that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
Thin. You make sure it's not a big portion. All
Right.
right.
So that's my diet right now, and I know if I go on dialysis, then it changes again. In some ways, I'm not really acquainted with that as yet, and hoping I can bypass that somehow.
Yeah. That's
And go
that's
on
the idea.
diet with the transplants. So
Uh-huh.
that's my goal.
Yeah. I like
So,
that goal. I do. I
yeah,
like that goal a lot.
I've had several people try to be donors, but as you know, donors are screened and their test is to be sure that they're healthy to donate. It's
Mm-hmm.
not that they want the recipient to have that healthy kidney. It's for the donor not to give out and jeopardize their health in the long run. So
Right.
that's an important thing. And so they really go through the gamut of testing to make sure that that donor is absolutely 100% healthy to donate.
Right.
Yeah,
And I get that. I do, Debbie. I get it. They've got to be careful. They've got to make sure that somebody is totally committed, and they've got
right.
to make sure that the person isn't doing this on a whim, spur of the moment, and so I get that. But sometimes for somebody like me who's trying to help kidney warriors like yourself, okay, it's frustrating for me because I'm thinking, all right, man, this person's going through all this testing. And it almost feels, okay, almost seems to me, okay, as almost as if they're talking them out of it sometimes, and it's so frustrating because I want to help this person so
Right,
badly.
right. I, I'm sure that that might play a part in it. I don't know. I've not been on the donor's end to know all the testing,
Right.
all the ins and outs.
Yeah.
And to be honest, the donor and the recipient don't know where they are in the process because there's
Right.
a law. So
Exactly. HIPAA
we're
laws and
not,
everything. And
we're not really too privy to that information unless the donor themselves wants to communicate that to the recipient or to myself, if that's
mm-hmm.
the case. So there's no problem there. But
Uh-huh.
the living donor coordinator and my nursing staff at the transplant center do not even communicate on any ongoing testing that's on donors for me or for any other patient.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So it's
And
all confidential.
and it should be. Again, I understand and I can appreciate how they have it set up. But again, sometimes it just can be because I have so much passion and it's real. Okay, I want to, it is so exciting to me when I've interviewed somebody. Okay, and I and I pray that what I'm about to say happens to you because it does. I'll interview people, okay, kidney warriors, and then a month, 2 months, even 3 months go by, and all of a sudden they get a kidney transplant, and I am elated. Okay, I'm ecstatic and I am so happy about it. Okay, and I love it. Okay, I do, and I want so much happiness. I wish people so much happiness because it means a better quality of life for you and for these other kidney warriors. So I
Absolutely.
do. I get so happy when I hear about that. All right, but when they're getting drilled, these donor candidates are getting drilled with all these questions and this psych test and stuff. It again just makes me just a little frustrated because I want, you know I'd hope that that maybe we could still do it in such a way that it doesn't seem as though they're talking them out of it or discouraging them, but maybe they can put it in such a way that it still gives them a chance to opt out, but it's not like they're making them feel like, oh man, you shouldn't do this. I don't know.
And
There, but
know,
again, they do it they probably have their own reasons. Again, it's
they
just I'm
do.
seeing it very one-sided because I want to help people. That's
I
all.
know. No, I get frustrated too because you get the
Yeah.
high lows. You hear somebody's going in to test for you, and you're getting so excited, if somebody lets you know.
Uh
And
huh.
they have to let you know that they didn't qualify for one reason or another. It could be a very minute thing,
Yeah.
but the lows that come with that, it's a real roller coaster of emotions with
Yes.
this
Yes.
with the donors coming and going, and it's hard. It's an emotional thing that's very difficult. But I was going to say too, Jared, some transplant centers have different criteria for donors,
That's a good
and
point.
I didn't realize that when I
Yeah,
first got into the transplant
they
center
do.
that
You're
I
right. That is a very good point.
that sometimes, and I'm not sure how this works because I'm not on that end of it,
Uh-huh.
I have heard that sometimes a donor will be turned down at one center and could be tested at another and accepted.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
whether that problem
I've heard
was
of that.
corrected,
Yeah.
maybe, or maybe it was that their weight was wrong and they either gained weight or lost weight and went
Something. Yeah.
to
Various
something.
reasons.
But
Yeah.
I have heard that certain transplant centers have different standards, and I was just really shocked because I thought it was universal.
You know, and I've been, I'm always learning, and I'm constantly trying to learn new things so that I can be a better advocate for kidney warriors. And I've learned that as well. And one of the things that I learned when I was advocating for somebody in my own state in Utah is that, that this person I was advocating for, okay, she had stated that she could get listed at another transplant hospital, okay, as long as it was like in a different state. And if she did that within 1 year, within a year's time, that she didn't have to go through all of the tests again, and that her
They
hospital,
they share that test.
right, exactly, right.
And
And so her hospital stated that if she did that in 1 year's time, that they would share that information, right, and that she
yeah,
could have that like transferred over to another hospital in a different state so that she could be on multiple hospital transplant hospitals. And
right.
so I knew that that was the case for her, but I just didn't know if other states had different guidelines, like if you had to do it within a year, like just like it is here in Utah, if it's
Well, you
different.
can do it at any time. You can join any time, not necessarily that your testing would be um, transferred over and you wouldn't have to take any tests. Each one might require something new at that transplant
Mhm.
center. What I understand is the transplant center is in a region, and there are certain states that are in those regions.
Uh-huh.
So if you're looking for, you almost benefit maybe from being outside that same region that you're in. So I would go to a different outside my region to sign up for a different transplant center.
Mhm.
My issue is that I don't live near a transplant center. Right now I'm 2.5 hours away from the one I'm in right
Your
now.
current one. Okay, gotcha. All
And
right.
that's the closest one I
Yeah.
have to my area.
All
So when you think about if they were to call you that you had a cadaver donor,
right. Mm-hmm.
you only have a certain amount of time frame to get to your hospital
Yeah.
for that transplant. So you got to take in transportation time and
Right.
that.
You got to think of
So
those things. You're right.
you got to think ahead of how long it takes you and how long you have between point A and point B to get there.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share this just really fast. So Bella was stating, that she had a transplant in her own hometown, Chicago, and the hospital where I thought I was getting turned down, my godson for me, giving me the kidney. We went to another one and they did the transplant 2 weeks later, and I'm over 15 years post-transplant. So
See?
yeah,
Yeah.
so in her case, she was her donor candidate, her godson was turned down by one of them, but then she went to a different one and they approved it. So it does happen, so it, hmm
And I'm surprised and I'm glad that Bella shared that because I'd heard that and I've read that, and
yeah.
I'm really glad that Bella had brought that up. Thank you, Bella.
Yeah, it's that's the great thing about this community, Debbie, is that we share things and we help each other and we build each other up. And when another kidney warrior has some information and gives it to you, it's going to make you feel like you're included, and you are, and you should feel that way. And I
Right.
love that. So everybody continue to comment here. Make her again feel like she's got support. Okay, let's make some noise. All right, make some noise and please comment. All right, because the more the interaction, the more engagement we have, and Facebook loves engagement. All right, and well, for that matter, so does YouTube. So the more engagement we have, the better reach we have, and the more reach we have, the more people we can actually show this to that might want to become a kidney donor for Debbie. So please comment below if you have had, if you know somebody else who was, if you know somebody else who had a candidate turned down, but then became approved at a different hospital, like in Bella's case. Comment below if you want to talk about some of the other things that we've been talking about, like the diets, maybe and some other things. So here we go. Yes, and it was for something as minor as this calcium level. Was a fraction of a point higher than her acceptable norm. And then Betty said here, my donor was turned down because she said she had a slight heart attack in 2011. She felt her organs were fine. Emory Hospital would not even let her get evaluated. So, so we've got different people chiming in, and I love that. Continue to comment, please. Continue to comment. All right, and Lisa.
I interject something, Jared, that we have the paired program too.
Yes, absolutely.
And that might be something that people might be interested in, even though they might not match their loved one that they're testing for. In my case, we talked about blood type. I'm an A positive, and the RH factor is not.
It's not a factor.
Factor in this blood type match.
Yes.
I'm compatible with an A and an O donor
blood
type. O being the universal donor, so they could give it to any of us that have any blood type. But that's an option too that my transplant center, and I think most of them do this now. And it's kind of like an exchange program. If they don't match, but they're an acceptable donor, they can, if the donor approves it, they match you with another person needing that kidney and kind of exchange with a donor that they might have that would match me or
someone else. I love it. Let's talk about that.
A lot. I think that you or a friend of mine, Amy Martin, went through a training like that.
Yes, she did. Yes. And in fact, Amy and I agree about that, is that we both feel as though the paired exchange program is not talked about enough. And she does a great deal of work, and she talks a lot about her own journey of becoming a living kidney donor. And I've interviewed her before, and I love her story. But she started a chain, or helped start a chain, of living kidney donors where, because she donated. Oh my gosh, yeah, it had like several states were connected because of her.
Exactly.
Yes, and so absolutely, I think we all need to talk about that today. So please, please comment about the paired exchange program. Let's get this rolling. Let's talk about the paired exchange program, because it's great. Okay, she has talked about her blood type, okay, and I brought it up here again. I'm going to put it up here again, or not her blood type, but her transplant hospital. So Tennessee, Knoxville, all right, living donor coordinator is Ashley Dennis, and their phone number here is 865-305-5340, or you can send her an email. So it's the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Is that the name of the transplant hospital?
It is. It's in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Okay, so it's in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Right.
And your donor blood type can be O or A.
That's correct.
Okay, but we're not going to exclude any blood type, because we're talking about the paired exchange program. All right, we're going to talk about that because it needs to be talked about more. So let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about let's talk about that, all right, because the paired exchange program is powerful, okay? Just like Bella said, it's cross-matching.
Of life, yes.
Yes, it's cross-matching, all right? And, if you're not the right blood type, okay, maybe we're not the right type. Okay, maybe you're not for me, but that's okay. If you're not for me, then be a type for her. But if you're not the right type for her, okay, then you can be any blood type, all right, and still apply. And that's the beauty of the paired exchange program, because if you're not O or A, let's say you're blood type B, or you're the blood type, what is that?
AB or
Yeah, AB or these other,
RB.
right. That's what I love about just talking about O or A is I generally just lump them all together, because I don't always I don't like be specific, but it doesn't matter. Okay, we're not going to exclude people. Okay, we're all about inclusion. We're going to include all of you blood types. All right, we have love for all y'all. Okay, we have love for all the blood types.
You're from the South when you go, you all.
That's right. Okay, we have love for all y'all, and we're going to extend a welcome to any blood type. And if you're not O or A, that's cool. Okay, you can still apply. Okay, the paired exchange program will welcome you, all right, and give you a welcome hug, and come on over the paired exchange program, because if you're not the right blood type, then apply, and her transplant hospital will work with many procurement and other transplant hospitals to find a match, okay? And then when the match is found, they'll connect her, and the cross matches will all be together. And then, okay, we'll all be smiling, because it will have theoretically all happened because of Warriors Quest, and we're talking about the paired exchange program. How great would that be, that we start a paired exchange program because we're talking about it, we're explaining it, and really making it seem so simple, because it is.
And I think getting the word out and making it, the awareness needs to be out there. And I appreciate you doing that.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, Betty Hale Mayweather. Thanks for watching. She's a very sweet lady. I've interviewed her on Warriors Quest before. Thanks for watching. She's saying that her friend's grandson's dad donated his kidney because he was not a match for his son. And so, if you're not a match, you can still donate, and it helps somebody. Even if it's not that person directly, it's going to be a cross match. And then Lisa is a kidney warrior, by the way. Debbie, I'm not sure if I told you this, but she has PKD, and she's had a transplant. And she's saying that she had a guest on her show, the Lisa Baxter Show, that talked about the exchange. It can be very powerful.
Yeah. Yep.